Continuing to make progress on Air Manager 3.0 and thought it was time for another quick update. Wanted to show you quickly a couple controls that we're adding for 3.0. One is a slider, and the slider is pretty easy to implement. It basically has you put in a graphic that you want for the background of the scale, and you put in another image, which is we would call the thumb, or the thing that gets moved by the mouse. And you can see it outputs a value actually from 0 to 1. Now I've multiplied it by 100 and rounded it off here, but it's a floating point number from 0 to 1, 0 to 1, a fractional number showing you the percentage of movement. And that's also available in a vertical orientation. In fact, there's even a circular orientation for the slider where you can put a circular graphic image in there and move an object around. So that should have lots of uses, probably uses we haven't thought of yet. The other thing that's been troublesome, almost every autopilot has thumb controls or scroll wheels to adjust vertical speed and so on. So we thought we needed a scroll wheel control, and this is what we came up with. Now, what this is made up is very simple. It's a single line API call. It basically, you put in a graphic. Now, in this case, there's a small graphic you can see. Each one of those little segments is what we call the segment, and you can put that image in there and tell it what coordinates, what width and height you want. And you also give it the dimensions of the overall scroll wheel. Now, I've put a little black background here to make it look a little more realistic. But it's basically a rectangle. And when you move it by dragging it, it moves the segments up and down and outputs a value plus or minus like you would get from a normal dial to tell you the direction of movement. And every time it moves one segment, you get another call. So you can put any kind of graphic you want in there, but it gets repeated to make this movable scale. Now, I wasn't all that happy with the way it looks because you can see that the segments don't get narrower. If it was a circular scroll wheel, you would expect those to get a little closer. Now, I came up with a solution. I just made a little graphic overlay that kind of hides the fact that those aren't getting smaller because it's not noticeable. And I think that probably achieves the effect. We thought about trying to vary the size of those, but I think this is just as easy a solution. And the scroll wheel is just dragged up and down, and you can also use all these controls. Also will respond to touch control, which is going to be nice. So anyway, I think these are two handy little things we've added. You're going to see a lot more in the future, but I wanted to just show you those and give you an update. We got some pretty stable betas that we're using now, and also we're happy to have more beta testers. If someone's interested, go to our web board, and you can contact me via private message, and I'll see about getting you a license to use the beta and give us some feedback. Also anxious to get some people who are Raspberry Pi experts to use the Raspberry Pi version, and even to try to come up with some hardware. We'd love to see some hardware projects done with our software, just to kind of see what people are going to come up with. But we're going to do some demo stuff, but you know, we can only do so much with our small manpower that we have at Sim Innovations. Thanks a lot for checking in. Watch for future updates. We'll keep you posted. We're hoping to get this out of the door as soon as possible. Thanks.